Did you know that it's easy to have all of these different items in our hands of different classes, whether they're usable items, utility items, or blasters, all sharing the same base set of information, but having unique variables of their own without duplication? The last tutorials have been talking about our resources that have the name of item, and that's capturing our model, our position, and rotation of all of the items that we might be putting in our hand. But as we were thinking about this, we realized that our blasters that we have the same ability to add a model to, we have the same position to a position or rotate them, are probably slightly different from the frying pan, where although we're doing the same position and rotation and putting our model in, it might not have all of the same characteristics that a weapon would. The weapon's going to want to have things like the max ammo. What is our cooldown time between shots? What do we have as far as the range? What's the spread of our bullets? How many bullets are we shooting? There's a lot more that can be defined for a weapon than just an item. So if we were to put all of those export variables in this script, well then everything on our frying pan and our whisk would also have a max ammo and would have maybe a specific reticle that it might be using. So how do we duplicate this information into another resource without really duplicating it? For this script, we have a class name of item extending resource. So why don't we take a class name of weapon and extend our item? We can take everything that's included with the item, but bring it down to this new one. So just like before, we're going to create a new script. And again, we could inherit, and why don't we do that? We can inherit directly from our item. This is going to be called weapon. So now we have that down here created in our file system. We'll open this up. Extends item. We're going to do a class name of weapon. So once again, just extending what we had above. So now anything that we create with our weapon is going to inherit everything from item and then anything new that we give it. We're going to create a bunch of export variables. We'll say export, we'll create a variable, maybe called max ammo, and we want this to always be an integer. And maybe we can even set the default for every new weapon that we're creating to 10. At least that way then, if we forget to set it, our scripts and our scenes will still go off. We can also add in maybe range. That's also potentially looking for an int. We could also do a float to give it a little bit more precision. And maybe we'll set that to 15. And we could continue this all the way down to have a bunch of unique variables that we have for all of our weapons. So now inside of our items, if we create a new resource, we can always extend our item, but now we'll have a new weapon that we can extend for our weapons. So if we'll create a new one, we'll call this Blaster 3. And we open it up. Because we've extended our item, we have all of the properties or variables that we had from our item. So our model, our position, and then we have all of the weapon type variables, meaning that it's going to bring in the max ammo, the range, the damage, the shot count, etc. So then if we created that Blaster 3, we grab our models, set my rotation. So now we go back to our player character. We add one more item to that. We have our Blaster 3. Now it's in my list, just as if I had it this whole time. But that one's using our specific weapon script. To change any of the other ones, it is relatively stable. If I go to my original blaster, in here we have the script that it's referencing. We can then load in our new weapon, and most things come through, my position, my rotation, but for this one, my model reset, so I can just create a new one. That means that we've just updated that blaster to use the new object, or the new resource. So now it works just like it did previously, but is using the new shooter logic. So if we had actual ability to take a shot here, we would use those values.